we've got this interesting Cora. This is a theme going on here. Cora Henderson over in Frank. Morgan and his partner had a verbal agreement that if their relationship deteriorated, Morgan would refinance the house and buy his partner out. Morgan writes us in this email, and you can send me an email, folks, Bob at WeSellLouisville.com. Morgan writes, the relationship fell apart. Morgan's trying to refinance, but he is being turned down by mortgage companies. And he's wondering if he is forced to live up to his verbal agreement of buying out his partner. Does he actually have to sell the house in order to buy his partner out? What are your thoughts on that, Cora?
Great question. Just to confirm, you said they had a verbal agreement?
Verbal agreement, right?
Oof. Okay. Rule number one, if it's not in writing, it doesn't exist. And I say that slightly loosely, but certainly always be sure when you can memorialize something in writing, you are going to be best served under all circumstances to do so. Does that mean it's impossible that he would have a claim? No. Certainly there are attorneys that would love to listen to that and dive into those facts to see if that's a case that they could take on. But, if there was an opportunity to go back in time with Michael J. Fox there in the DeLorean, I would say that, executing what's called a cohabitation agreement is very common. So when we have unmarried couples or, friends or what have you, taking title together to a property for a purchase, we look to those types of agreements, written agreements, where it's going to spell out who pays for what, who's going to get paid back in the event the property is sold. And also, what if there is a dispute? One person wants to stay, the other person does not. And I think a lot of times, you had mentioned refinance, that's not unlike married couples right now who maybe have it in their marital settlement agreement. They have it in writing where one person is supposed to remove them from title. They're supposed to refinance and get their former spouse's name off the loan. But what we're running into is with the higher interest rates, that's nearly impossible. I mean, who wants to refinance, when they have a 2.5 right now to get an 8.5? And so instead, you see a lot of family law practitioners, and certainly in this scenario, I would say they would be a good candidate for a consult for him, but they would be drafting other types of written agreements, written contracts amongst the parties, so that they can still accomplish what they need to as far as an equity standpoint and a sales standpoint without having to go through the formal process of refinancing.